Hi, I'm Caitlin Dottie here at Women in Comms at the Light Reading 5G event in New York. I'm sitting here today with Ginger McClendon from Sprint. Thank you so much today for sitting and chatting with me and answering my questions.
My pleasure.
The first thing before we get started, could you just tell us a little bit about yourself and your role at Sprint today?
Sure. I work in the technology, innovation, and architecture team.
Okay.
And I'm focused on the core network.
Okay.
So anything that's 2.5 years out, so not the near term, but more the strategic parts of the core development.
Can you tell us a little about the path that you took to get to where you are today in your role in telecoms?
It's a strange place. It's not where I intended to go at all, actually. I was in college and I worked for a nuclear company making copies, literally. And one day I was making copies and watching someone struggle with a database, and I said, you know, you make my copies, I'll do your database. And that ended up with me running all of their mainframes and their technology programs. And then I ended up changing locations, and I had this degree where I could make $15,000 a year in psychology and sociology.
Oh, I was that too in college. That's so funny.
Where my degrees actually were, or I could continue in technology and make, 5 times that. And so I didn't intend to be there, but I found a natural home there and a fit there. And after several years of doing the jobs of my peers who had double E's or PhDs, I was told, you can't be promoted because you don't have this technology degree. So I went out and got a master's degree. And so from there, I've worked in pretty much every aspect of network. I mean, from site selection all the way back to R&D, and I kind of found a home in architecture. R&D is a little too far out for me. I like something just before it becomes real and tangible so we can continue to develop and innovate.
Cool, great. Okay, so the next question that I have for you today are, what challenges have you faced as a woman in comms, and how have you overcome them?
It's 2017. You would hope that women don't face sexism or limited opportunities, but I think telecom and technology in general are still tough places. If I look around at conferences, there are lots of women in marketing and finance and even the digital spaces, internet. But in hardcore technology, I look around and I find there aren't very many of us. So I think it's still a difficult place for women to break into, and I think it has a lot to do with how we're socialized. It's not just about saying girls can do STEM too and encouraging them, but when they get here, it's a very cutthroat kind of place. It's intense and it's competitive, and women tend to sort of be small and not want to break in conversations. And so I think it took me a long time to realize my own inner voice was just as good as anybody else's.
I like that.
And I think when I got to that place, a lot of things became possible.
Yeah, no, I like that a lot. And who are some of your mentors, either at Sprint or elsewhere in your life, that really, influenced you in today and your accomplishments?
So I won't name names, but I have women friends that are in other companies within the industry who they're my go-to crew. If I'm thinking about a job or I'm thinking about a technology choice or a big decision to make, I send out feelers to all of them. And they come from very different backgrounds, different countries, they have different disciplines. And although I don't always take their advice, it's just great to have a little support system to bounce ideas off of and sort of see it from a different perspective.
Yeah, and especially women in comms too, you guys are probably facing and experiencing the same stuff, so it's very comforting to have that kind of social group. I like that.
Yeah, I think it's really important for women to help other women at that layer as well, because too often, especially women in my generation, women felt like they had to be manly and tough and strong, and sometimes we're really combative and with other women, and so breaking those walls down and making space for young women coming into our industry is really important.
It's like that. There's a quote going around this year. It's like, if women come together, anything is possible. And because women, we're always planned to be pinpointed against one another for some reason in society, and that's the whole thing with 2017. I see that if women come together, anything is possible, so I really do like that. And the last thing I have for you today is, how do you work to support women in the tech field today?
I think we really have to focus on young people coming in. When I look around and do see other women, they tend to be Gen Xers like me. We didn't attract Gen Y. Millennials are tougher, so we have a very robust intern program, and I make it a point to recruit women, to try to make sure that women are in hiring pools, and when we bring in the interns, to take time with them and understand who they are, and to show them that there's a place for them. I encourage them to speak up and to speak their minds, and that other people's opinions are not their problem, that they've come to do a job and they should trust themselves and do it. And I can see it. They get hired in other places, they become my mentees, and I think we have to build on each other.
Okay, cool. Well, that's all I have, all my questions that I have for you today. Thank you so much for sitting with me, and thank you so much for coming to our event today.
My pleasure. Thank you.